Chef Buck here, and today we're going to... It's true. Today we're going to make up a miso soup, a vegetable soup with soybean paste. If you're not familiar with miso, it is made from soybeans. It's a soybean paste, and it is a very versatile seasoning. Now this is yellow miso paste. Now you can buy a white miso paste, you can buy a red, or you can get it smack dab in the middle with yellow, which is the most versatile. Now the red miso paste is overpowering, like this. And the white miso paste, I don't know, have we ever used white miso?
No.
I don't think so. I don't know, it sounds bland. But this is not bland. I mean, the red is overpowering, but this is pretty overpowering too. I think go yellow. I think this is the way to go, in the middle. That's how I live my life. But we're going to make kind of a vegetable soup today. And miso is going to add a great flavoring. It's almost like the Asian version of a bouillon cube. One of the benefits of miso is that it's fermented. So it's good for your gut. You know, like donuts. It's kind of... You know how you go to an Asian restaurant? You know, and they'll bring you that little lonely bowl of soup. You know, it just looks like a weak broth with, you know, like a stray tofu cube kind of roaming on the bottom of the bowl.
I love it.
You know, I love it too. Yeah, and I have a couple little green onions on top. That's a miso soup, you know, but we're going to make a miso soup on steroids today because it's going to be kind of a vegetable soup. Come on over here, camera girl. Let me start my skillet going first because I'm going to saute up my vegetables a little bit. Which you don't have to do, but I always like cooking up my onions a little bit. You know, add a little bit more flavor, you know, to cook that, saute that flavor out of the onion. But I'll go ahead and let my oil heat up here while I slice my vegetables up. So I'm going to take one dinky-doo onion, and I'm going to take 1/2 of it. This is something I've gotten into the habit of lately, is mincing up one part of my onion kind of fine, giving it a nice fine chop. And then taking the other half of my onion and cutting it just a little more rustically, so I have some nice chunks of onion, you know, to go with my little bits and bobbles of onion. And I'll go ahead and slice up the bottom half of my onion as well. And I'm going to save the top for like a green onion garnish. And celery, boom, celery in a soup, always a good idea, because no matter how much you cook your soup, it'll have a nice little bit of crunch. I'm just using 1 stalk of celery, but use as much of these veggies as you like. And then I like carrot for the color and the nutrition, of course. And I'm going to do these in kind of big pieces too. But I'm going to have them thinly sliced. So they won't take that long to cook. Because I'm not going to spend a lot of time cooking this dish. Well, I think my oil is hot enough to throw my onion in here. So we'll go ahead and give our onion just a few moments head start. And I'm going to add a little bit of pizzazz to my soup with just some red pepper flakes. Just a wee little bit.
Yeah, but wee little bit.
Camera girl thinks that's a lot, but she's wrong. So I give my onion a couple minutes head start there, and then we'll throw in the rest of these veggies. And you can add whatever kind of seasoning you like in here. I just got the red pepper flakes. I'm going to put a little bit of black pepper, and then that's it. And I'm not going to add any salt at all because miso is very salty. And that's going to be all the salt we're going to need. So now I'm going to put a little bit of water in here. And I got 2 cups of water. And then I'm going to turn my burner up to high and throw a lid on here, and we'll let it come up to a bubble. And then while that's coming up to a bubble, let me get my other ingredients ready over here. I'll go ahead and chop up my green onion. Then I'm going to put a little bit of spinach in there, just a handful. And I'll give this just a little rough choppy chop. And then we got some seaweed. This is, what do they call this? Nori. Now you can use any kind of seaweed you like, but these are the kind of nori strips that you use for sushi and whatnot. But we like to cut these up and use them on salads, and we use them in soups and all kinds of stuff. Let me get a sheet out of here. Oops, come on over here, camera girl. Our pot's already come up to a bubble. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. So our stove's off and our pot is just bubbling away. And we'll leave this alone while we get this set over here. I'm going to use just half of this sheet. And this is very dry seaweed, but we're going to reconstitute it in our soup. And I'm just going to cut it up into some thin strips. So miso is a healthy ingredient, and then you got some seaweed. Boy, they're like health nuts. Camera girl likes to just take these strips and throw them on top of a green salad or any kind of salad. Or you can use them in soup like we're doing here. We used to eat out at a breakfast place in Seattle all the time, and they would give little sheets of seaweed with the rice and Spam and serve it with eggs. Really good ingredient to have around the house. Come on over here, camera girl. I'm going to go ahead and throw my miso in here. Now, if you look on the lid of a miso container, they've got a couple of different recipes. They've got one for just plain Jane miso soup and for a salad dressing. And that's primarily what we use miso for, is for soups and for dressings and sauces. They say half a cup of water to 1 teaspoon of miso. And to me, that's, I mean, I'm a salty guy, but that's overly salty. So I like to use a little bit less. I've got 3 teaspoons here for about 2 cups of water. But you can really adjust the amount of miso that you like. But I would go a little bit less than they recommend for a soup, because you can always add more if you like it saltier. But you know, it has a nice salty punch. So we'll stir this miso around in here and it will dissolve. And that's all you have to do. You don't want to cook the miso in with the soup. Just add it after it's already come to a boil. And then we'll go ahead and add these other ingredients in here, just into the hot water. We don't have to boil these ingredients with the soup. And we don't want to overly cook them, especially the seaweed. These strips here, they will reconstitute in this water, but they're just nori sheets. So if you boil that in with the soup, they'll pretty much disintegrate. So this way they will just reconstitute and we'll have some nice seaweed strips in there. But everything, you can be super duper flexible with the ingredients that you add in here. So this is just a hearty little vegetable miso soup. You know, you can make it lickety split just about as fast as you can saute some vegetables and boil up some water. And you don't even have to saute up the onion and stuff like that. You could just put that in there and just put it with boiling water and boil it up. But I like...
That sear.
Yeah, I just like searing up my onions a little bit. If you wanted to, you could add some noodles in here, you know, and really make it a hearty miso soup.
And rice noodles cook like in a minute.
Oh yeah, instantaneous. Let me give it a little taste here and see how salty this is. Yeah, I think that's plenty salty. Be conservative with the miso until you figure out the salty level that you like. We've had some nice chilly mornings here. In Florida, it's actually feeling like winter a little bit, so this is a good time of year for this. Looks nice. Very simple flavors, super duper delicioso, healthy, cooks up fast, reasonably inexpensive. I mean, what's not to like? What are you scared of, camera girl?
Trying to get a good shot. You keep wanting to hog the camera.
Well, look at that. It only takes a few moments for that seaweed to reconstitute. Get the yellow miso. Lots of things you can do with it, mainly soup and dressings. But you can figure it out. You know, take life by the balls and by the horns. But go ahead and give this recipe a try. I have it written down below. You can go over to myfoodchannel.com. You know, we'll have the simple miso recipe written down over there. Thanks for watching and subscribing. We'll see you in the future. Bye-bye.